Have you ever wondered what happens when the very people entrusted with protecting the most vulnerable among us become the source of harm? What if the caregiver you trusted with your newborn wasn't who they seemed to be? In a busy neonatal intensive care unit, where the tiniest lives hang by a thread, a series of unexplained injuries shattered the faith of grieving families. Tiny fractures, silent cries, and questions no one could answer. Who could be responsible for such unimaginable harm, and why? This is the story of Erin Elizabeth Morgan, a trusted nurse whose actions would leave a community in shock, and the chief nurse who refused to stay silent. Hope Haven Medical Center was a trusted institution, known for its neonatal intensive care unit, where fragile newborns fought for survival under the care of skilled professionals. Families placed their hope in the hands of the NICU team, trusting them to protect their most vulnerable. Among the staff was Erin Elizabeth Morgan, a young nurse admired for her calm demeanor and apparent dedication. She worked closely with premature infants, earning the trust of worried parents. But that trust began to waver when unexplained injuries surfaced, tiny fractures on babies too small to move on their own. The incidents, scattered at first, seemed unconnected. Yet one by one, they painted a troubling picture, and all eyes turned to a single nurse. What was happening behind the closed doors of the NICU, and how far would someone go to uncover the truth? The answers would shock the hospital and leave you reeling. Before we get into this story, take a moment to share where you're watching from in the comments. And if you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for daily news stories. At 26, Erin Morgan was seen as a dedicated caregiver, entrusted with the lives of the most vulnerable patients in the neonatal intensive care unit. She had the trust of her colleagues and the gratitude of families, who saw her as someone who truly cared for their fragile newborns. But about a year ago, unexplained injuries began surfacing, a newborn with a fractured leg, another with a broken arm. These were injuries that should have been impossible under the watchful eyes of trained professionals. Parents, already overwhelmed by the emotional toll of their baby's fragile conditions, were now grappling with confusion and despair. Among them were Michael and Mary, parents to baby Noah, who was born prematurely but had been making steady progress. For weeks they found hope in small victories, Noah breathing on his own for the first time, his tiny body growing stronger. But their joy turned to heartbreak when they were told Noah had suffered a broken arm. Michael and Mary demanded answers, but none were forthcoming. Doctors were at a loss. The hospital was silent. It was Chief Nurse Cynthia Thompson who began to suspect something was terribly wrong. A seasoned nurse with an unwavering commitment to her patients, Cynthia couldn't ignore the patterns she was beginning to see. Determined to uncover the truth, she started reviewing patient records and meticulously studying shifts and schedules. One name kept appearing: Erin Morgan. Cynthia's suspicion grew, but she needed more than circumstantial evidence. That's when she turned to the hospital's security footage. One evening, while monitoring the live CCTV feed of the children's ward from her office, Cynthia saw something that confirmed her worst fears. Erin Morgan, who was on her shift that night, was leaning over another infant's crib in a manner that raised alarms. Her actions were deliberate, her movements cold. Cynthia immediately sprang into action, storming into the ward before Erin could inflict harm. Caught in the act, Erin froze, her expression betraying the calm, composed demeanor she'd maintained for so long. Cynthia's voice was firm but controlled as she told Erin to step away from the crib. At that moment, the facade Erin had carefully built crumbled, and the truth could no longer be hidden. With her evidence in hand, Cynthia alerted hospital administrators and law enforcement. Erin Morgan was removed from the NICU that night, ensuring no other child would suffer under her care. The investigation that followed would reveal the extent of her actions, leaving families reeling and a community demanding justice. Let us know in the comments what you think about the actions taken by Chief Nurse Cynthia Thompson, Do you believe the hospital did enough? Share your thoughts, and if this story resonates with you, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories like this. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell to stay updated. The evidence gathered by Chief Nurse Cynthia Thompson was undeniable. Surveillance footage, medical records, and testimonies from colleagues and families painted a chilling picture. Cynthia wasted no time presenting her findings to hospital administrators, who immediately suspended Ellen Morgan from her duties. For Michael and Mary, baby Noah's parents, this suspension brought some relief, but wasn't enough. Their son had suffered under the care of someone they had trusted, and they demanded justice. Other families joined them, their collective voices calling for accountability and answers. As the hospital worked to address the fallout, law enforcement began their investigation. With Cynthia's evidence in hand, authorities swiftly acted. Ellen Morgan was arrested and charged with multiple counts of malicious wounding and felony child abuse, finally bringing a sense of closure to grieving families. The news of her arrest sent shockwaves through the community. Vigils were held for the injured infants, and Michael and Mary stood at the forefront, sharing their stories and demanding reforms to ensure no other family endured what they had. In response, Hope Haven Medical Center implemented sweeping changes, including enhanced security measures, strict staff oversight, and anti-bias employee training. These steps, while necessary, came too late for the families whose trust had been betrayed. Chief Nurse Cynthia Thompson, hailed as a hero, remained steadfast in her mission to protect every child in her care. Her actions exposed Ellen Morgan's crimes and sparked a movement for justice and accountability that resonated far beyond the hospital walls. The story of baby Noah and the other injured infants became a call to action, a reminder of the importance of vigilance, courage, and ensuring that trust is never taken for granted. Let us know in the comments how this story impacted you and what changes you'd like to see in healthcare systems. Don't forget to hit that like button if you believe in justice for families like Michael and Mary. Please subscribe for more stories that matter, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.